Okay, so in the last video, we tried to rebuild something we had done before in Cursor and rebuild that in Canva Code without totally rebuilding from scratch. What I want to do today is just go Canva Code completely from scratch. But first, because we've built this project already once, we're going to do a product requirements document, a PRD. So that's a product requirements document, a PRD. We're going to build that first. But since we've already done the project, we're going to try to use AI and typing mind to help us rebuild as much of that as possible without having to sit down and rewrite it ourselves completely. Here we are, just as a reminder, this was the project that we want to rebuild. And you'll see we've got 6 questions. Each question has a limited number of parameters. And when you click the button, you're going to get a readiness score, which is reading from AI. So we have the advantage of, we know exactly what we want. The other thing is we do want we want the visual. So we want the gradient the way it is here. We want the gradients here. We want the divider bars the way we have them. We want the numbers. We want the gray background in the drop downs, the whole bit. So we're rebuilding this as an exercise. This is good to go as far as I'm concerned, and is technically in production. However, if we get something better out of Canva Code, I'll do a test at that point and say, okay, which one do I like better and which one's functioning better? I would like to do the Canva Code into Google Doc instead of a tally form. So that'll be a slight departure here. So let's see what we can do. First, I don't want to get too deep into Cursor at this point just yet, but since it is what we used to build the original project, I do want to kind of explain some of Cursor, if I can get it to go into, okay, there we go. All right, so back to our typical format of, let's do this. Okay, so we have Cursor on the left, we've got typing mind on the right. I did build a Cursor agent, and he's called Addison. And just to give you an idea of what this prompt is, I didn't really put it in a description. I call him Addison because typing mind had already named him Addison. You can't really quite see that here, but you can see it there. See if we can get this to fall back in place. Okay, close this up just a little. All right, so for Addison's instructions, we said you're an expert at so-called vibe coding in Cursor. You have access to the internet as well as any connected LLM, so you have access to the most up-to-date knowledge available. You will help me, a novice coder, progress in my projects. We're currently utilizing this tool stack, and if necessary, we will add more. Cursor, GitHub, Typing Mind, you and other agents, Canva Code at times, and we're hosting on Vercel. That's where the Cursor project is actually hosting currently. We might not need that because we might be able to just host it on Canva at this point. So we'll see what the finished product looks like. When you give me instructions, you'll give them to me very step by step. If you give me 10 things at once and we get hung up on the second, then we have a messy chat with much scrolling up and down. Better to deal with each step, complete it, and then move to the next step. I also gave him some instructions on suggestions. Suggestions are welcomed. I generally have an idea of where I want to go next. So too many suggestions just become noise and burn tokens. Let's be judicious. Now, one of the things I've noticed with ChatGPT 5 is it talks a lot. It has a lot of comments and it's doing the deep thinking. That's great. But so much of that is just verbose noise that is not actually helpful. So we will see if this helps tone that down a bit or not. I typically don't give quite as much instruction, but I do know with the coding, it can get really annoying having to go back and forth and remind it where we got stuck. And there's stuff, right? I didn't assign a specific model. The plugins I gave it pretty much everything that's web search related. I gave it Canvas. I gave it HTML and got Firecrawl. To-do list, I still haven't figured out what this is. I'm sure it's super useful. I need to spend some time with it. The JavaScript interpreter, that will be helpful, and Perplexity. So that's how I built the agent for Cursor. And like I said, I don't normally go into that much detail with the agents. So we'll see if that helps on some of the things that do get annoying at times. All right, so let's actually go into, we're going to create an AI. Oops, I don't want an agent. I want a chat. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start a new chat, and we're going to talk with Addison. All right, so we got Addison fired up. What can I help you with? Okay, so first off, I'm going to go back here to our earlier project, which was the Notion database. And in case you guys thought that that was not a long-term useful project, we're going to dispel that myth here right away too. Okay, so in the Cursor project we built, we had a couple project parts, and I wanted to explain, I want Addison to explain what these parts are and what they mean. He will do a much better job of explaining that than I possibly will or can. All right, I'm having window problems. Let's move all of these together. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we should be able to, yes. Wait, some days. All right. So let's do this. 2/3, 1/3. Thank you. All right. Now we lost our gap. Okay, good. First, can you let's let him in on a little bit. We have a project built in Cursor, fully functional and live on Vercel. We are going to rebuild that from scratch in another program. I don't want to necessarily let him know it's Canva because I don't want him going down the Canva road just yet. But first, let's talk about the structure, the current structure. Can you briefly outline the purposes of, let's see, let me go back to my Notion because I had notes here about route.ts, layout.page. Okay. So before I hit the return there and he goes to work, you should recall this. This was our home base, and I made it very clear in my Notion that this is the final live one. So I have a task here, which is write the product requirements document for the rebuild IES readiness in Canva code from scratch project. Okay. So we're starting to use this as actually our home base. So you see that came up in tasks for today and for this week. Our active projects are rebuild the IES readiness in Canva code from, we know that's going to be scratch, but okay. And that's in progress. This is a high priority. And then inbox, remember inbox was drop anything in here to start later. And I actually should move that down here. Okay. This is just a note. In my product requirements document, you can get super, super, super detailed, granular. I don't want to do that just yet, partly because we've already built it. The things I feel are going to be important for Canva code to know, what's the visual? What's it supposed to look like? It will give us some screenshots. What's the functionality supposed to be? And then the choices in the multiple choice. Those will be important for it to have because those are pretty well set. So, but first I did want to talk a little bit, just briefly touch on Cursor and kind of how this project was built with these three different parts of the code that all do work together. But I want Addison to tell us a little bit more. So let's find out a little bit more. And then what this will do is it'll help us tell which part of the code we need to go to get these pieces down the road. Okay, so Addison is thinking. Okay, so TSX, page TSX is the actual UI for a route, what users see at the URL. Okay, so that would then be this. So this is the page, makes sense. Maps to a specific path, dashboard.tsx dashboard, component, by default, fetch data. Okay. The layout is the shared wrapper for route segment and all its nested pages. So maps the same path in its folder, persists across navigation, and then route is basically the traffic cop. So, and that's also where our API keys are held, but not pushed out. So they're secure and nobody can get to our credit card, because that's what we care about with APIs, right? Okay. So that probably doesn't give you a whole lot, but that's okay. We're going to get full into we're going to get full into cursor later on. You will kind of see as I move around where stuff's at. And this just gives you an idea of kind of what's to come when we get to cursor. So, okay, great. What I really want Addison to do is help us with the product requirements document. I have this project built in cursor. I want to pull information for a product requirements document, so I can use for the rebuild. I have 3 important areas I want to capture and remind myself what those were. There's going to be visual functionality, and this is an assessment. So we need to capture the choices and how those will connect with the outcome or the user. Okay. I will copy the existing code, those 3 areas. Okay. All right. So what I'm hoping to do is have a document at the end that's got visual functionality and the choices. That visual should describe the gradient, all of the user interface stuff, how the buttons look, how the back is grayed out, how the drop downs work, the fact that there's two gradients actually. So that's all the visual. The choices are going to be, there's boxes that are in the drop downs, those choices. And then the functionality is going to be just everything in the back end that right now is using ChatGPT to grade your choices against whether we think you're ready for the software upgrade or not. So the goal would be to have one document that kind of very clearly lays that out, that I can feed to Canva, and we'll test and see how well Canva, and we probably won't feed it all at once. We'll give it some idea, but we could also, although we did test that last time, it was better to give it an idea of where we were going and then say, okay, now let's do it step by step. So we'll try that approach again. We'll give it the whole thing and say, don't do anything, but here's where we're going. Where do we start? And we'll let Canva Code guide us. So, and we also have our Typing Mind Canva agent, which will run alongside too, to help us, make sure that Canva's really taking us on the right path. All right, so we've queued him up, so he should know where we want to go, at least hopefully. We'll see. We'll build a PRD in 3 sections: visual functionality and assessment logic, choices, outcomes. Let's start with a quick inventory so I can extract accurately. Paste these so you can send in multiple messages if needed. Okay. Package JSON, he actually doesn't need that. The app folder, 3 levels deep. Okay, so he wants a lot of stuff. I'm going to tell him I will send through. So see, he wanted something, but I'm going to give him something totally different. I have enough familiarity with this project to know that from those 3 sections that we asked him about, that's where the bulk of the code's at. So I'm going to give him a route. I give him page first. Okay. Because that should be page map app booker for you. Okay, so this is really more the results. All right, so I don't want to give him page just yet. Let's give him layout. Canva is going to really write that pretty much. All right, so we will give him page. We'll start off with page. And I think he'll find that most of what he needs is actually here. And I just did Control C, but actually what's better is I'm finding that anytime you see that they've built in a copy function, that's going to come over cleaner into wherever you're going. So versus Control C, I'm going to actually use it looks like you have some options to change. Okay, so that's not quite what I thought it would do. Let's see if I can get back there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to sign through page TSX. First, I think you'll find it has most of what we need. See below. I'm gonna paste that in. Okay. And that was a fair amount of code. It's I say a fair amount of code. This is my noviceness showing through. It's 241 lines, so there's some stuff there. Got it. Pull PRD details from your page. Here's concise breakdown by the 3 areas. And we'll see if this gives us enough. Okay, visual UI. So page background, layered gradients with an insert box shadow for a deep branded backdrop, centered card max with 2XL white panel, rounded 2XL shadow, 2XL padded P8, header band, full width, gradient bar, the colors, okay. Custom Intuit Enterprise Suite word mark with an SVG in glyph. Okay, we may want to take that out because if you remember, we had some challenges with the whole text, but we will see. Subtitled. Okay, progress bar, thin rounded bar. That's not really a progress bar, but we'll leave it in. That'll be an interesting variation. Form field 6, selected inputs with each. Okay, number 1, gradient circle, label, tailwind style, light gray, background. Okay, so this is setting all the colors. That's perfect. The submit button, perfect. Result card, white bordered, readiness score. Okay, so this is all looking great. This readiness score includes ready now or almost ready, link to book a free IES call, and that's our tally link. If includes not yet, then book a 20-minute systems consult, same tally URL, orange tone. Okay, so we will change that before we drop that into Canva, but let's keep going. Functionality. So component, client component using useStat for form data report loading, form data keys, all string, team size, and entities, project. Okay. Progress calculated as answered fields. Progress calculated as answered fields. 6, displayed in progress bar with area attributes. Change handling. Okay. All right. Response contract expected. Readiness score. Okay. Rendering logic. Okay. Notes, no client site validation beyond empty checks for progress calculation. Submit button is only disabled during loading, not gated. All answers being filled. Correct. And we did not build a lead form on the front of this. I want them to go directly to the assessment, play with the assessment. And then on the back side, we'll collect their information. And we may never ever collect their information. That's okay in this tool. I'd rather them score the 1, you're not ready, and me never talk to them than to book my calendar up with a bunch of people that are not ready. Okay, so assessment logic questions. This is what I really want to make sure we got. Team size under 10, 10 to 20, 21 to 50, 50 plus. Number of entities, yes. Project tracking. Okay, so this is all great. That's perfect. Definitely wanted to make sure we caught that. API payload shape. Okay. We're not going to use our API, so we will take that out. Outcome mapping, determined server side by API IES readiness. The UI only displays readiness score text. Yep. Please paste the route. Okay. I feel Canva Code is not going to need the route. So here's what I really want to do. I want to take this and we're going to dumb it down. Okay. And let's do this in Notion. Okay. Do this in our draft here. And I'm going to turn this into a text box. Okay. So now I can really just copy that whole thing in there. Okay. That's great. I sort of want to do one more pass. Okay. This is great. The other tool will not need guidance on these things. API routing. What else did we have in here? Cursor, specific instructions, tally, database, tally linkage, leave a note to include connection to Google Sheets instead. Let's see, what else did I want to pull out of here? Okay, let's see what that looks like. I really want to make this super simple for Canva Code. That is what I'm trying to get to here. And we might do this next. The only thing is the gradient was very detailed, and it took a lot to get there. So I do want to capture that. But I have that code somewhere else too. So if I can get the tool working, I can always come back and play with the look later. Okay, tool-agnostic PRD slice for the IES readiness checker screen, excluding API routing, cursor-specific notes. Perfect. Here's a tool-agnostic PRD slice for the IES readiness checker screen, excluding API routing, cursor-specific notes, and tally. I've added a brief note to integrate Google Sheets for lead capture. Okay, scope. Single screen IES Enterprise Suite readiness checker. Excludes API implementation details, routing, build tooling specifics, tally integration. Include UI user interactions, assessment inputs, outputs, CTA behavior, and copy accessibility. Okay, that might be a little bit much, but we'll see what it gave us. Visual requirements, background, layer gradient, backdrop with subtle inset, shadow for depth, brain colors, primarily blues and those. Okay. Center card dimensions, that's good. Header band, we will manually change this a little bit. I don't want to get into that loop. Title readiness checker, discovery. Okay, that's great. Progress bar, that's fine. Question blocks. Okay, that's the visual of the question blocks. Progress calculation, submission, trigger inputs, results. Okay, so what it did do is it took out our options. Nope, they're there. Okay, great. So I think at this point, this is better. This is less confusing. Let's just try to take it over to Canva Code and see what we get. I do want to change this word mark part, but that's fine. We're going to give it a picture too, and that picture might actually confuse it, but we'll try it. All right, so I like this better. Output is much more to the point and will hopefully confuse Canva Code less. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to replace all of this. Okay, I do want this to be a toggle. Turn this into, this will be a toggle. I can do H3, that's fine. Typing mine, rewrite, PRD, based on cursor. Okay, so that'll help. This will be helpful for later to refer back to. For now, I do want to change this part here. All right. I don't know that that's a good instruction, but we're going to try it. So we're just going to come over here to Canva Code. Actually, we're going to try one other thing real quick. We do have, we should go back to that chat. Sorry. Okay. So now we do have a Canva agent. He does not have a super detailed prompt, but I do want to engage him. Hi. How up to date are you on Canva Code AI? If you need to update, then go ahead and search the web. So because I didn't give him a lot of instructions, let's at least make him aware that Canva Code AI exists. Because it is new, it may not be in the GPT code base and the LLM code base of information. This tells them that, okay, you can go ahead and go out to the web and find out what you need to know. Once you've done that, I am going to give you some instructions. Okay, so we'll do one more filter before we actually put it in Canva Code and create some sort of wild mess over there. So first off, we asked him, how up to date are you on Canva Code AI? If you need to update, then go ahead and search the web. Once you've done that, I want to give you some instructions, have you review them for clarity before I give them to Canva. And I'll say ready. Okay. And all of my software agents, I always make sure they've got that full web access. I generally try to give, if it's a coding thing, I definitely make sure they get the JavaScript and the HTML and all those other pieces that they can access just to make them a better agent for me. So that is running. Okay, still running. And the good thing about this is once he's done it, like he'll be a Canva Code AI expert going forward. We just hadn't really run this kind of through before because Canva was still a graphics program to me. So I wasn't so locked in on the idea of what the tool could do for us now. Okay. I'm up to date. Quick snapshot. What is Canva? Chat-based AI generates interactive widgets, apps, calculators, quizzes, mini games. You can use across Canva, websites, presentations, docs, and more. How to access from the page, Canva AI. Okay, we know that. Editing model, you don't directly edit raw code in the editor. You refine via chat. Here's a show code toggle. There's a show code toggle to view copy of the code. Recent updates also mention AI code downloads. Where it works, interactively runs in Canva and then published as a Canva website. Other export forms, PDF, images, PowerPoint won't preserve the interactive logic. That makes sense. Limits controls, daily prompt caps, approximately 20, free 60 on the pro, teens, and education. Can be displayed by org admins, not available via Canva CN. TechNote announced using Claude 3.7 Sonnet under the hood. Okay, that's new information. Did not know that. Supports different diff-based updates for faster iterations. Okay, good. Ready to review your instructions for clarity and fit with Canva Code's constraints. Paste them in. I'll tighten them up so they're unambiguous and prompt ready. Okay, perfect. I believe we are all on the same page. Let's see. So we want to pick up from scope all the way down to not the if you want. Okay. Send. And just for future use in our Notion, I'm going to take out this line because I don't want the if you want. I won't ever want that. And if I did, I would end up back in the chat. So that's fine. I don't need to preserve that. This is helpful though. Here's a tool-agnostic PRD slice. Okay. Now, what would be good here is if we come in here, if we want to track pulse as we go, we will add another one, toggle with an H3. We'll also be typing mine, errors, review. I'm going to say above. This is probably not great hygiene, but anyway. And update and prep for Canva code. That way, if I come back in 3 months, we can kind of track what we did. And the other thing we should do is we have the ability to share. So we will want to share the link to this chat so we can easily go back from Notion later. And so here's what I'm doing there. I'm going to go typing my chat and I'm going to bring this share over for right now. I want the secret link. Yes. It'll be public, but nobody can really access it unless they know the link. Oh, Control Z that. What happened there? Here we go. Okay, that copied the link. All I was trying to do was copy the link. Okay, so we have that link, and then I'm going to nest these two under there. I'll nest this one under there. This we will make into a toggle. Turn into a toggle. Does that work? No. Pick this whole thing up. Okay. So this way we will be able to get back here and know kind of what our steps were. Because this will either work fabulously, not well at all, or in between. And along the way, we'll want to have that to reference back down the road. So this is solid. To make Canva code ready, here are the key clarity gaps and suggested fixes, followed by a paste ready prompt. Scoring logic. You say external to the screen. Canva code needs logic, no API. Add a temporary client-side scoring function to clear to-dos with clear to-dos. Exact readiness score strings. Define canonical strings to match for CTAs. Ready now, almost ready, not ready. Avoid partial string matching ambiguity. Result visibility rules. Specify when to show the result card only after submit. Hide on input changes. Reset, retake. Submit enablement. Yep. Okay. So this is all good, but here's actually what I kind of want to do instead. First off, I'm going to copy this. All right. So I think he gave us a prompt. Okay. Paste ready prompt for Canva code. All right. So let's copy this whole thing. Let's get to the bottom. So we're gonna take more than just the prompt. Yeah, we're gonna take all of it. We're gonna drop it here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another toggle to where it says paste ready prompt. So I'm going to turn this into a toggle, and then we're going to bring all of this into that toggle. Okay, except for the if you want. Okay, it's always very helpful, except when it's not. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do. Okay, we'll take this out. Okay, I'm going to make this bold so I can find it later. But okay, so now we have one single prompt. Let's see what that results in. So I'm going to take it right out of here. Let's see. So I've already copied it. Let's give it a shot. Let's just see what Canva Code will give us. Canva AI. Now we want code for me. Drop this whole thing in here, but not all of it is our prompt. Okay. So we're going to start with goal, and let's see what it does. And it goes right to work. Oh, yeah. Can't argue that. It absolutely does. Okay, boom, here we go. Now, whether it's coding the right thing or not, we don't know. Directionally, we're probably pretty good. What will be good, though, is in the end, whatever this comes up with in terms of the user interface, I have this, so I can just literally take a screenshot of this, and whatever it comes up with, say, give me this instead. So that's our quick backdrop. And it is going to town, writing code. Okay, we did end up with that word mark. That will probably create problems for us later. But because we are chat coding, we don't actually have to go find it in the code and fix it ourselves. We're going to need to communicate what we want changed. Okay, that's pretty good, actually. If we look at this compared to this, that is not bad. So do we have our... All right, we have a nice progress bar. I don't believe this actually has a progress. Oh, it does. Okay, it's got a progress slider. I did not even realize that was part of it. That's pretty cool. Okay, so if I'm just gonna pick what I know is gonna absolutely be a recommendation. They do the next step. Very painful. Get ready to score. I put a reset in there. That's pretty cool. Okay, I click that. 100% highly ready. Emerson shows strong indicators for Enterprise Suite adoption. Would need to change that language a little bit, but this is being pulled from Claude at this point. So we didn't write this. Like, this is going to be slightly different every single time, depending on what the score actually comes out and how they got to their score. So this is pretty cool. Now, if we just hit the button, this probably doesn't go anywhere, but if it does, we'll be amazed. No. Okay. So that button's dead. And that's not at all surprising. That's perfectly fine. So we got mostly where we needed to be. I'm going to do reset here. Actually, I do want to, let's compare the outputs. So I just did the worst case of everything here. 6 out of 6 ready now. So if I bring this over here and this over here, now we can see them. Okay. So 100% ready versus 606. Analysis size. Okay, so we didn't quite get the commentary in the breakdown, which we definitely want that commentary. It does show strong indicators. Okay, so I want to do, this is more important than the gradient and all the other stuff. So I want to feed that back and say, let's see, grab the whole thing. Yes, okay. So I'm going to grab this whole thing and we'll say, first of all, paste that in. Oh, that's right. We can't do that. Oh, I forgot about that. So Canva won't let you actually paste media in. So here's what we will do instead. We will copy this. I do like the way it did this button versus just a link. So I'm going to leave that out of my response because I don't want it to mess with the button. I like the button. That's a good upgrade. So you cannot do a drop, cut and paste. I totally forgot about that. That to me is still one of the biggest blockers in Canva code, is the fact that the visual tool, you can't receive visuals. Anyway, we'll just copy paste that text and so we can kind of see what the other response is, and this is how we want to adjust it. Okay, so slight adjustment. This tool was built already, and I do want to maintain this part, this format of output to the user after scoring. Please update accordingly. These responses should be AI generated and feel very custom to the user. The link is just about right. I don't want it to go off and read a book on each, so let's maintain that. Makes sense? All right. I really wish I could. It would probably be better if we wrote this in Markdown, but we're not going to convert it. Let's just see. Let's see what it does. We'll give it a little bit more. Also, we highlight, we bold the question, i.e. team size in the response, and utilize bullet points. The final recommendation is in. Okay. All right. So let's see what that comes back with. And this will be version 2. And remember, the nice thing about Canva Code is version 1 is locked. So we can always come back to that. We can always get to the code for version 1. So whatever he comes up with for version 2 is totally off the mark. No problem. We're just going to go back to version 1 and start back there. I'll update the results to show AI-generated custom responses with proper formatting, bold question labels, bullet points, italicized recommendation. Perfect. And he likes perfect too. Okay, so this is looking good. We're going to go lead the witness here to, you really have to call us right away. 6 out of 6. Okay, so better. He's still not actually italicizing him. He did it in Markdown. Analysis breakdown, 6 of 6, ready now. Team size, you have over 51 employees. This indicates, okay, so it's basically copying mine. Let's see if that's in the code. So let's find, you have over 51. Okay, so that's going to be a problem that he basically used my text. Okay, it looks better. Some of the Markdown didn't translate to proper user interface of bold. Also, you just used my responses that I gave you as examples, but we need more flexibility than that. Every combination of answers should result in a slightly different response since it is AI generated. Yes. Okay. It will be interdependent on the other questions and responses. Okay. And honestly, now I'm not so sure what level of depth we gave the AI to generate these responses in the other tool, the cursor tool. But let's see what I know. So let's do this. Okay. So we're going to leave this hang for a minute. If I come over here and duplicate this, and I do a whole nother, okay, that's weird. Let's refresh this. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm going to do middle of the road. I don't want to go so extreme again. KBO projects, progress, occasional, some friction. Okay. So 10 to 20 employees. Okay. First thing, some friction with your current software may warrant. Let's see, where did I go to the extreme again? 2 to 3. I think I did project tracking approach both times. Utilizing a dedicated tool shows you're already at a level of project management sophistication that aligns well with enterprise solutions. Using QBO projects indicates some level of tracking sophistication, but there may be room for more improvement. So you can see that is not the same sentence. So we didn't code that sentence, which was the beauty of the tool, was that we were able to give a customized response each time. So we do want that to be a little more dynamic. So let's see what we come back with. And then we'll test the Canva tool against these responses we gave a second ago for the 3 to 6 and see how that comes out. Truly dynamic AI generated responses. Perfect. Okay. And that probably would have been fine the way you built it. And I say I don't mean to be super specific about that, but that's just kind of how it rolls out. That probably is fine in terms of internet users forever at the point of the history of the internet have been dealing with forums and surveys and assessments and quizzes that really are kind of dumb. They're not dynamic. They're not user logic based. But now with AI, we have that entire world without having to build all that code logic. We can literally just say, okay, go fetch me some answers that answer this question without having to build like a bunch of, if then this else rigmarole. Perfect fixed the bold formatting, created a truly dynamic AI response system. Now each question's response is influenced by other answers, creating hundreds of unique combinations. Bingo. For example, a small team with complex billing gets different insights than a small team with simple billing. Beautiful. That's what we were going for. System analyzes patterns across all responses. Now, we'll see if it sticks with the same logic of, 3 to 6. Oh, you need to do this. All right. So let's test it and see what we get with the same responses between the tools. Oops. Okay. Took a second there. Progress billing, occasional, and some friction. UI readiness score. It should still give us a 3. It gave us a 6. That's a problem. Okay. So your perfect inflection point. Okay. So this is really where I want it to be able. I want to be able to screenshot this across the two tools and say, give me this. So instead, I'm just going to have to be able to say, you scored this 6 of 6, but we would have scored this previously as a 3 of 6. Is there any assistance I can give you on that logic? And if we need that assistance, we'll probably go back to our typing mind cursor expert who's looked at this code, and we'll get him to give us some help. You're absolutely right. I was counting the number of questions, answered 6 of 6 instead of calculating the actual readiness score. So you just can't counting, did you answer or not? How ready they are out of 6 pods. Can you help me understand the scoring logic better? Should I be assigning? All right. So this is what I'm going to do. Oh, so he says he fixed it. Perfect. I fixed the scoring logic. Now it properly calculates readiness score out of 6 based on the percentage. So 50% readiness, which are 3 of 6. And all right. So he's saying, I got it. I fixed it. Well, let's test it. So we want to do 10 to 20, 2 to 3, QBO, progress, occasional, and some friction. Okay, let's see. So I got a 4 out of 6. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, it's not, I don't want a 1 out of 6 all the time. I don't want a 6 out of 6 all the time. I do want it to be somewhat dynamic. So let's see what it said. You're at the perfect inflection point where process standardization can dramatically improve your team's effectiveness. Moderate complexity management, but not overwhelming. Okay, that's similar. Number of entities, multiple entities require careful coordination and consolidated reporting to maintain clear visibility across your business. That's correct. Entities can benefit from more integrated systems as operations grow. This is actually a little bit more robust answer, like it. Project tracking approach, QBO projects is a solid foundation, but complex billing models may require more advanced project management capabilities. Using QBO projects indicates some level of tracking sophistication, but there may be more room for improvement. So far, I do like the robustness of these answers better. Progress billing requires detailed tracking. Did we just do that one? Progress billing suggests the need for advanced tracking and reporting. Okay, so we are following the same general logic. We're saying it in, I think, a much better way in the Canva, which is using Claude, versus ChatGPT is what I used over the other tool. Software pain level, some friction is normal as business grows, but addressing these pain points now prevents them from becoming major obstacles later. Experiencing some friction with your current software may warrant exploring more robust solutions. And the ultimate was you're close to needing a migration path. Let's explore options on a free call. Want to map out your migration path, and this was book a readiness call. Your business is showing clear signs of growth, complexity, the enterprise suite. So we need to address that. It always needs to be Intuit Enterprise Suite, not just Enterprise Suite. Can address, consider planning your transition as these pain points intensify. And then it says, learn more about Enterprise Suite. And that's still a dead button. Okay. So we did not really change this. For 3 out of 6, we got that. I'm going to do one more of these because I don't totally remember. I want to do a 1 out of 6. Let's reset this. So team size under 10 with one entity. That alone will kick it to where it's QBR project, simple, rare, and works fine. So this should be like a 1, maybe a 2. I'm just trying to see, did that give me a different response on the bottom? I don't remember whether we set that up or not. 1 out of 6, not yet. We did change it to a different color. Okay. And that's probably a little backwards. We actually would want the red to be like, here, 6 out of 6. Get on a call right away. All right. This is looking pretty good. However, we do always say Intuit Enterprise Suite versus some variation such as Enterprise Suite. I'll fix all the references to consistently use Intuit Enterprise Suite throughout the entire application. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. I could go crazy in the user interface and getting the gradients done. For brevity here, I'm going to not do that because I think we've shown what we can do. I do think I would like to, let's do the 1 out of 6 again, just to see how he tracks over here. Help that QB project. Simple, rare, works fine. Get my readiness score. Okay, came up with a 2 out of 6, early stage. Okay, good. So we're saying Enterprise Intuit. We're saying Intuit Enterprise Suite. Perfect. Okay, so this is good. This is good. We'll take this. So now what I need to do is we have the button and let's see, is that changing? So that said explore growth planning. This is version 5. We don't have the responses. Okay. So we're not keeping the responses. Oh, that's too bad. But I think that button is changing, which is awesome because that's very cool to have that updated and make it dynamic as well. We will watch that going forward. So I want to go back here to our Canva expert. Great. We have a fully functional assessment built with Canva code.